What is up, Pyromaniacs? Pyrostasis here. We're back in the world of TDK Voltz, and I'm joined by my three invisible companions, Icy Caress,
Hey guys.
and somewhere over there holding a magical potato, I believe, is Little Bird, aka Jody. She can't talk yet. One of these days she may get a mic. We don't know. We don't even know if she has a tongue. She may be mute. She may be mute. We really don't know. You're going to notice that our base looks a little different from the last video. We have moved back to the overworld because Galacticraft sucks balls, and we got tired of being stuck in the overworld when our base is up in space. So we've moved back to the overworld in an undisclosed location. I won't be telling you where. And I want to show you guys my new toy. This new toy has been brought to us by Craft Clone and his former faction. You'll notice that there's a rather large gap here between our little area and everything around us. So let me show you what we've got here. This is a force field. Right here we have a coercion derivers. These are what creates Fortran. We've got these hooked up to our ultimate energy cube right here. That then feeds into a Fortran capacitor, where it stores Fortran. This is capable of transmitting 3.8 thousand joules a second, or a tick, or whatever period of time this thing uses. And then over here we have the force field projector, which projects the actual force field itself. Now you'll notice right here we have a cube mode. That is the shape that the force field takes. And then over here we have scale. Now what that basically does is when you first get the force field, it basically just projects around the unit itself. For each scale module you put in here, it increases the scale by 1 block. So you get further and further and further and further away. Speed modules just make it do its job quicker. These two other modules that we're using, the disintegration and the collection module. Disintegration obviously disintegrates anything it touches, blocks basically. And the collection module collects anything that it disintegrates. We have a chest right over here where all the stuff that we disintegrate goes into. We have an ME fuzzy import bus here with stack mode that collects into our ME system. And then you can see right here, this is all the stuff we've collected since we've moved. We haven't been here too long. And this system runs pretty good. So let's show you what it looks like. We've just harvested everything at 19 blocks out. So we're gonna go ahead, wait, that's translation. We don't want scale. All right. So we're gonna go ahead and slap the scale module in. That puts us up to 20, and you're gonna see all the little red lights. That's all of the blocks that it is currently disabling. So you'll notice it flashes and then dims and then flashes and then dims. Each time it dims like that, that's it yanking some more stuff. Now you can kind of see some of it's coming in here, and it's here for like a fraction of a second, but you can see what it's all gathering. It looks a little cooler out here, as you guys can see, as it slowly just starts chewing through everything. And you know, it's fast. I'd say it's about quarry speed. We could speed it up a little bit more if we slap some more speed modules into it, but in all honesty, as far as passive ore generation goes, this is pretty quick. You do end up with a lot of garbage ores, but it's not too bad. It's not too bad. Now, a couple things I want to let you guys know of. I'm gonna drop some knowledge on y'all. The reason I'm mainly telling you guys this is there isn't a whole lot of information about certain aspects of this mod pack, mainly because it is so outdated. And Voltz has been updated many times, and the makers of Voltz don't seem to update their stuff very often. So sadly, that means there's a lot of information out there that you guys just may not be able to find, and it takes a lot of trial and error. And that's why you guys got me. I figured this shit out so you guys don't have to, right? That's why you're all here, right? So you're gonna notice down here in the bedrock area, there is a lot of mined out spots. I'll go ahead and jump down here so you guys can see. You can see there's a lot of holes in the bedrock down here. Now there's still a few pieces of stone here and there that the machine hasn't quite gotten yet, which means we're not quite through it. But the issue is right below bedrock is the void, and force fields don't work in the void. So if you mine everything out down here and you keep going below this, if you were to try and create a force field down here, it wouldn't work. What do you call it? The force field will try and create it, but then it gets a little pissy and just says, fuck it, I'm done. And as soon as it says that, everything stops working, and it just basically freezes. So you may be wondering, well, what the hell? Why is it doing this? That's why. So how do you fix that? Oh, this is not where I'm meant to be. Icy, are you at base?
Yes.
Okay. Head back up there.
Oh.
All right, so if you want to get up off the ground down there, so like let's say you wanted to make, instead of, you know, destroying stuff, let's say you wanted to make an actual solid force field. Well, you wouldn't probably be able to do it with our current setup because some of the force field would be in the void. We may be able to go 1 or 2 blocks down. Or maybe you're on the bottom. Maybe you're down at a much lower height than we are. We're up at about, I don't know, 30. So maybe you're at 10 and you want to extend your force field out as far as we have, but you don't want it to go down as far because then it doesn't work. Well, what you want to do is you want to get these translation modules. What these basically do is they move the field in the direction that you increase it in. So for instance, right now we're at roughly 20 blocks in every single direction from the base unit. So, and that's rough. I don't know if there's a slight different calculation on the first couple blocks, but that's a general idea. So assuming we're roughly 20 blocks in every direction, we don't want to be 20 blocks in every direction. We want to be 20 blocks in every direction but down. So in this instance, you get to look at these little options here. So you've got down, you've got back, you've got right, you've got up, you've got front, and you've got left. These are the slots that you can put these translation modules in, and it will move the force field in that area. So if we want to go up, like right now I said we're down probably about 5 blocks. So if we wanted to go up 5 blocks, I would simply put 5 translation modules in the up direction, and that would move our force field up that number. And I'm going to show you guys that here in just a second. We're going to wait for this to finish eating the walls, which may take another minute or so. Once it's done, I'll show you guys that we can translate it up. It will also probably eat something down below, maybe. I'm not sure why it's honestly not grabbing those blocks that are in between some of the bedrock spots. It may just be that bedrock's freaking it out a little bit, or it may just be that it's eating too many things elsewhere and hasn't gotten to there. I also wanted to take the time to show you guys the proper setup for the, what do you call it? The fission reactor. I didn't show you guys this before. I was trying to figure it out and I was having some problems with it. So if you look in here, this is the same 3x3, except I've added a layer of water. I don't know if adding layer of water increases the amount of electricity produced or not. Most other people on the server were using it. Most of the videos I was looking at were using it. So I figured, let's add a layer. Why the hell not? You can see that we've moved the thermometer from right here in this block to right here. The reason we've done that is it's now actually physically touching the reactor, whereas before it was physically touching the water. The reactor's temperature is what you care about, not the water. So you can see, when we come down here, you can see in red, that's the actual temperature of the reactor itself, and worn is where I've got the temperature set. Be careful with that temperature. Obviously, the reactor is not going to explode unless it hits 2K, but it cycles really quickly sometimes, and servers lag, and redstone sometimes takes a minute, and the mod pack's just fucking buggy sometimes because it's old and it's ancient and they don't update it anymore. So give yourself a little leeway. I wouldn't go too far into 1800. I mean, you could set it all the way up to 1880, 1890. You can even set it up to 1950 if you want. If you set it higher, you'll make more MJs a tick. But you also run the risk of it fucking exploding. Also, you know, if you want to be a real dick to somebody, pretty much everybody on the server is going to use this. If you raid a base and you don't like them, you can always just untick this on your way out the door and it'll take care of itself. Especially if they don't notice it when they log back in. Just make sure you stay close enough to the chunk so that it stays loaded until it explodes, because if you don't, it'll unload, and if that's the first thing they check when they log in, which would be the first thing I would check if I logged in, they could probably keep it from melting down, and you know, then your little explosive surprise of happiness won't be very explosive. Won't be very explosive at all. So our plan here, we have an evil plan. I'm not going to completely let you guys know, but anybody who's seeing this may get flashbacks of our Eater of Worlds from season 1 of Dungeoncraft, I believe it was, back when there were frames and there was some really cool shit that you could do. I plan on doing something similar, so I will be releasing updates pretty regularly through the series. I'm rather hooked on Voltz. Me and Jody and Icy have been playing it rather religiously for the past couple days, and I expect to be playing it rather religiously in the future. Unfortunately, this stupid thing is taking a rather long time to finish snarking all of the blocks. As you guys can see, there's some areas that aren't taken. So I'm going to wait just a minute, let it finish up, and then I'll show you guys the translation. All right, so we finished mining now. You can see we've got nice, smooth, flat plains here. Nothing to see here. And we've mined everything out. You can see all the little holes that were previously down there, you know, with the little cobble pieces that we saw in the bedrock. They're now gone. And what that basically means is if we've mined the absolute last bits of non-bedrock. So if we go any further, we're going to be now moving into the void. Now there's a little bit of space underneath bedrock, maybe 1 or 2 blocks, but we don't want to mess with that, because here in a bit we're going to want to activate a force field here to protect all of this area out there. And if we keep going up and out, but we also keep going down, it's going to be a problem. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a translation module. That's that right there. And basically this is going to move the stuff in the direction that we want it to go. So here's up. We're going to drop it in up. And if Pyro's not an idiot, you'll notice it's only sucking from the top now. You'll notice up here, it's not taking from the left, it's not taking from the right, no other directions but up. And that's because all we've done is moved this cube 1 block higher. And you can use this to basically make a semi-customized field. Now, there is a full customized field. That's a lot more complex and a lot harder for my simple Texan mind to understand. But this right here will allow you to make a force field on bedrock without messing with yourself. One thing I do want to point out, this is one thing I forgot to show you guys. Liquids, specifically oil, is kind of a pain in the ass for this thing to handle because it just continuously mines it. What you want to make is, whoops, it's right here in my inventory, the sponge module. Basically, this flat out destroys all liquids, water, oil, lava, any of those that it touches. The problem is it doesn't abide by the range. So for instance, if you have, this right here was a water source block. It's gone now. And that was at max range. Even at max range, it will yank this out right here and get rid of it. And we'll be completely screwed here. So keep all of that in mind. Keep all of that in mind. We burned through that rod already? Holy shit, we burned through a fuel rod. Good God. I'm blown away. Anyways, that's how you use the force fields. Later on, I will show you guys how to make an impenetrable base, an antimatter survivable base, and a few other cool tips and tricks as we go on from here. For now, I'm just going to enjoy digging a giant frickin' hole in the world and nom-nomming all the ore. Anyways, guys, hopefully you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please slap that like button. Make sure you subscribe. And catch you guys in the next clip.